Yeah, so let me first address. I am not a politician. I am a knowledgeable. I'm a knowledgeable person in public policy, business, and development and how things work. I don't consider myself an outsider because just like you, John, we're Democrats in this city. So this idea of dividing because a Democratic town committee and the chairman has this idea of how he wants our city to operate when the majority of Democrats in the city are really the majority. I definitely don't consider myself an outsider, but I understand the point of your question. I have built long-standing relationships with many people that are currently considered Democratic Town Committee political insiders. Um, I rely on my personal relationships to get jobs done. I execute. In this city, we always plan. We're always planning the future. Well, we've been planning the future of the city of Bridgeport for the last 4 decades, and we can't move the needle, mostly in my opinion, due to poor governance and poor leadership. Um, I'm an urban planner. I understand what it takes to meet and plan and do master plans, but I also understand how to lead and how to execute. And what we lack as the city is people with the comprehension levels, talent, and wherewithal to actually execute plans that we discuss, converse, and talk about. And the way that we do civic engagement in this city is not proper protocol. So even when we look for public advocacy or we look to engage the general public, it's dismissive. We have a dismissive attitude in this city. So no, I don't consider myself an outsider. I consider myself a Bridgeporter. I consider myself an advocate. I consider myself a Democrat, and I consider myself someone who has a voice that is desperately needed here in the city of Bridgeport that can unify the Democratic Party, because the days of Mario Testa as town chairman are done. Yeah, so the 130th district is a very large district in the city of Bridgeport, and what I deem as the most important of the 6 districts, and for a few reasons. But as far as me personally, timing is everything. I've been around the political scene in this city since I was a kid. My father was an elected city sheriff for over 25 years. Manuel Ayala, a lot of people knew him. He has served as town committee chairman for the East Side district for many years as well. My brother was also a very well-known city councilman of the 131st district for over 10 years. My brother is Andy Anderson Ayala. A lot of people know him as Andy. And he was also elected city sheriff a few years ago. I've been the Ayala that was not involved in politics. And in Bridgeport, there's several different Ayala families. My wheelhouse is business and economic development. So I've shied away from the politics, but sadly in real estate development and community work, politics in this city seems to rear its head a lot. So I had to come to an epiphany where I've been around the politics of this city. I'm born and raised in the city of Bridgeport. I'm well educated. I'm well established as a business and entrepreneur throughout the region, just not the city. And I figured it's time to give up some of my assets and knowledge and relationships. And I can really make a difference with a lot of relationships I've made in Hartford. I lived in Hartford for over 10 years. I'm a graduate of University of Hartford. I have an electrical engineering degree. So when you ask the question, why, those who knew my brother passed away last year on March 3rd of 2019. And he was, like I said, an elected city sheriff, and he was in that seat when he passed, untimely death. And Ezekiel Santiago, who was the former state representative for the 130th district, passed away literally 2 weeks later. And me and Ezekiel were friends from childhood. We're about the same age. Andy and Ezekiel were very good friends and worked together a lot. And as luck would have it, they are currently buried side by side each other at the same cemetery. And so every time I go, I'm watching these guys. I go to the cemetery, and honestly, it just hit me where if you guys really knew what was happening in the city of Bridgeport with all the love and passion you shared, you would be absolutely annoyed. And there comes a time where I just could not stay out of the politics because it kept hindering not only my personal professional development, but opportunities for Bridgeport residents. And I figured, you know what, let me plant my flag, because with my name recognition, advocacy throughout the community, I think I can connect in a way that no one else has been able to connect with the community in some time. So that's the real why. So I can't stress enough of how important the 130th district is to the city of Bridgeport. I can make the argument 35 to 40% of the entire tax base of the city of Bridgeport is in this district. We cover the waterfront, all the major companies on the waterfront, the central business district, and all of downtown. We are the economic development engine of the entire city. The bulk of jobs, manufacturing jobs, there's a ton of small manufacturing happening throughout the South End, the West Side, the West End, whether we have companies from the plastic factory to the Julio sausage to Octo to Calzone Case Company over on Black Rock Avenue. We can go on and on. There's manufacturing and there are jobs being created right here. We have the largest fuel cell park in the country right here on State Street in our district. We have the largest solar panel array system right here by Seaside Park, by the old dump that UI runs. That's the largest in the entire Northeast. We have assets and jobs here. There is no other district that is contributing to the job creation of the city but the 130th. We know a lot of the challenges we have in the South End, the West Side, the West End. The messenger matters. When we go to Hartford, we're up against lobbyists who hire their best and brightest. We're up against our own governor's administration who hires the state's best and brightest. Then you look at your colleagues, your legislative colleagues who have a ton of experience, have law degrees, master's degrees, doctorates. We can't send someone to Hartford to represent our interests who does not have the capacity to be there. So you can speak to people all the time about what the issues are, and that person can go to Hartford and represent you to speak on the issues. But the messenger matters, and who they listen to matters. Credibility matters. Proven leadership simply matters. And that's why we have to make a change. Yeah, so obviously my experience and credentials are an asset. I consider myself 21 in my head, so I'm still young. I'm 46 years old. I'm a bull in these streets. I'm a known quantity. I'm a known quantity that if you were hedging a bet, you would probably bet the house on me because I'm a known quantity. So my opinion for voters is, why bet your house on an unknown when there's a known quantity in the race? That's number one. To the point of, I love the amount of civic engagement our young leaders and progress throughout the city, including Antonio Felipe, have shown. I think it's important that we, as not just people in the political world, but in the business world, we're teaching the youth what it means to be a part of your community through volunteerism, community development, civic engagement. We need all these voices. Okay, so I applaud that he's a young person that is involved. So I think that is an asset. He touts it as his only asset, and that's where I have a problem. So being the youngest person of color, and listen, I shouldn't, I'm Puerto Rican. For anyone who is listening, I am a Puerto Rican descent. I am a product of Puerto Rican parents. I am born here in the great city of Bridgeport, Bridgeport Hospital. I went to Blessed Sacrament St. Mary's on the East End on Union Avenue. I'm a product of Colby Cathedral High School. So I'm a Bridgeporter through and through. But we're all of color. I don't have to tout that. I don't have to wear that as a badge of honor. Black, brown, white, indifferent. We are a very diverse city, and I relish in the diversity and the resiliency of the people of the great city of Bridgeport. Because in spite of our poor governance, and in spite of our poor business climate, we have awesome, resilient business people, awesome, resilient residents, and awesome and resilient community activists just plain out doing the work. One thing I make sure I say, and I repeat it all the time, I don't do photo ops. I don't believe your elected officials are the leaders in your community. We are there to advocate for the community leaders. We are there to seek resources for the community leaders. We are there to provide a public service to the community leaders. The power of the mic and just talking for the sake of talking and taking photos because, oh, well, I'm the elected person. I'm the state rep. I'm your senator. I'm your city councilman. I'm your mayor. I have held events where I did not let the mayor speak on my event. You are here to listen. We have created a perverse culture in the city. And one thing that I'm talking to all voters is that my campaign is about integrity for a change. That's the slogan. We've tried everything in this city over the last 4 decades. And I'm telling people, let's try integrity for a change. Let's give that a try. Let's see how that works out for us. That's a starting point. Now, I'm running for state representative of the 130th district. I am not running for local government. I am not running for mayor. I'm not running for city councilman. So it's important for listeners to understand our different branches of government and what the roles are and what the roles are of a state representative. So I see my opponent going out into his district and worrying about things like trash or blight or cracked sidewalks. That is not the job of a state representative. If you wanted to be your city councilman, tell them to run for that. Our job is to worry about crafting adequate legislation that impacts the majority of the residents of the city of Bridgeport. I am concerned with quality of life issues, public safety. Police reform is absolutely up there. I'm very concerned about housing segregation within our neighboring cities and how they use Bridgeport as a dumping ground when we provide them a plethora of wealth and resources to our neighboring towns. I am concerned with affordable housing crisis that has reared its head around the country, but in Bridgeport, the cost of living is so high that a simple one-bedroom apartment, we're pricing people out of our own city. I am worried about gentrification as an urban planner and community development specialist. I am worried about those types of issues. So my platforms are available on the website, kelvinayala2020.com, and I've summarized them into 3 buckets: education, quality of life issues, and economic development. Bridgeport will be and should be the economic development engine of the state of Connecticut. We have the bones and infrastructure. We have the talent here. What we lack is the guidance, leadership, and governance. And I plan on being one piece, one step of taking us there over the next 3 years.